All right, guys, I'm here with Nate. He has the famous Meza Jeep. This thing's so unique. It's probably one of the most unique Jeeps I've ever seen.
We got it next. That's how you finesse. We come for they next. We come to collect. Did it all on my own, yeah. When it brought it back home, yeah. Now they calling my phone, yeah. But I'm all in my zone. They not a threat. Tell them reset. When they're at their best.
Like, I have been in Sand Hollow and Moab so many times, and I've never seen a rig with this setup. So I'm really excited to learn why Nate even chose to do this. So tell us a little bit about yourself and this Jeep.
All right. So my name's Nate. I do like engineering and fabrication stuff. So this is what happens when I got a lot of spare time and I want to engineer and fabricate something fun.
That's what's cool about Nate too is it's definitely built, not bought. Literally everything. He has a 3D printer. He's a fabricator. He builds most of the parts that you see on this thing. So that's why this guy had to be on the channel because, you know, unlike a lot of us where we just buy the parts or we just take it to a shop to get it built, this guy's different. He just chucks on some 42-inch tires and says, all right, let's see if we can make it work.
That's right.
Cool. Let me grab the camera and then we can kind of walk around and you can tell me a little bit more. It's not cantilevers or whatever they call it. Tell me what it's technically called.
It's technically a mezzanine, which people correct me in my comments because I didn't know the difference. But I think a cantilever has to have the push rod and then a pivot and then the shock, whereas this is the push rod, shock, and then pivot. So it's almost like a trailing arm, but higher up. So it's not technically a cantilever, but it's basically a cantilever.
Right. So this shock, in its stock form, how much travel does it have?
So it's a 10-inch, 2.5.
And then with the mezzanine, how much added travel do you get from it?
So I get 17 inches of straight wheel travel and
Dang.
more than that flexing.
Dude, that is so cool. We'll have to plug in some videos of you wheeling just to show like how much travel. I mean, you can see it right now. It's got so much travel even right now on this tiny little baby rock.
Yeah.
When you're wheeling, does it ever get sketchy how much travel you have?
Yeah. It needs, so this sway bar is like really just for on-road. It's such a huge bar and you have to unlock it once you get off-road.
Right.
So I need like a torsion bar, like an anti-rocker TK1, so that it can be connected and flex with the Jeep while I'm wheeling. Because right now, I completely take all this off when I go wheeling. And when I'm on anything off camber, it just leans like crazy because the whole side will unload 17 inches and the tiniest little off camber, it feels like I'm leaning over touching the ground. But
that would get some getting used to when you're driving because I mean, and it's probably really hard for spotters too, because if you're just flex 17 inches, I don't know how much I can push this guy before he's gonna tip.
It always looks like I'm gonna tip and it scares the crap out of me. I need a sway bar really bad.
Yeah, well, like I said, we'll plug in some videos of you wheeling because that's some pretty crazy travel right there, man.
It still does good without the sway bar, but it would make a big difference for sure.
Right. So you're pretty much wrapped everywhere with MotoBuilt. The side armor, your rear tailgate, pretty much making it look like a new Jeep.
Yeah, the whole body's basically covered. All that you can see of original body's like that much.
Right. So this is what year?
It's a 95.
95, so that's the YJ. When did the TJ start?
97.
97,
There was
okay.
like a dead year in between where they kept selling 95s and called them YJs, but there was a 96.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess the biggest change with the YJ to the TJ is just the front end, right?
YJs were leaf spring front and rear.
Right.
And then TJs go to coil springs.
I forgot
and they
about
have
that.
AC and all the creature comforts and airbags.
yeah.
And it was a big upgrade. They went very analog to a newer car.
Okay, so literally everything on this Jeep is pretty much aftermarket. That's an aftermarket roll cage, right?
This tube and this tube are factory. This is all DOM. Everything back there is DOM. And then it all ties into the frame right here and right here, just because all the forces of the shock are pushing through it. So the cage is supporting all the weight of the the truck, so it has to be tied down to the cage.
Okay.
Or tied down to the frame.
That's sick. So I know everybody's going to want to know a little bit more about the process of how you did this whole mezzanine thing. So tell me a little bit about like what fabrication went into building all of this.
So I got this basically rear quarter panel designed in the computer, and then gave myself a pivot point and an axle, and then I just kept designing different arms over and over again. I had different ones where the shock was getting pushed forward or in or back that way. And finally I decided on this one. It was a lot simpler, easy to build. It uses a 2,000-pound trailer axle spindle right here, and it just bolts right on. So if I ever want to take it off and use a different one or change the motion ratio or add a bypass, I could do that. Super easy. So after a long time of just cycling it up and down, making sure this all clears the body, measuring wheel travel, all that stuff, I decided on this. And so I plasma cut it all out and then welded it up.
Dude, that's sick. So how long have you been welding and fabricating and doing all that stuff?
I started welding when I was like 16. I took this Jeep out to Colorado to my cousin, and we put like a 3-inch rough country lift on it.
So how hard was it to convert this thing from leafs to, from leafs to coils, I guess?
Yeah, so this was leaf spring front and rear on these axles on a set of super swampers, some really fat super swampers. And then my brother wrecked it, ran it right into a like big island, and ripped the leaf spring perches off the front of the axle, put the drive shaft through the transfer case.
Oh my gosh.
Just like totaled the thing. So I bought a 3-link kit for the front from Rough Stuff Specialties.
Okay.
And that's just the links and the joints and a couple brackets. And then I designed the coilover towers up top and got those laser cut from Motobuilt. And so I 3-linked the front, put it on the coilovers, bought the coilovers off a guy on Instagram. And then the rear, I bought this Motobuilt rear stretch kit for leaf springs, so it moves the leaf spring hanger from like here, puts it back here, and then you can use a little longer leaf spring and get a few inches of stretch. But just sitting in the garage, the leaf spring was wrapping. It wasn't even driving it, and the leaf spring was like bent in half.
Oh my gosh.
So I found a set of 10-inch coilovers, and they came with bypasses too. I have those, but haven't done anything with them. And so I decided to just 4-link the rear, get rid of the leaf springs. Now I have this leaf spring bumper for no reason, but it looks way better than the stock one. So
yeah, it looks great. So with the 4-link, you had to relocate your gas tank. Motobuilt, right?
Yep, Motobuilt gas tank, put that up there.
How big is it? It looks tiny for some reason.
It looks small. It's like 18 gallons still, 19 gallons. So it's enough for going on the trail.
Yeah.
I ran out of gas in Moab last week, but
yeah, I love the Packout setup. I want to get some Packouts.
it's super nice. It keeps all the tools just like locked down in there. So this is all my Packout stuff. It doesn't have everything in it that I take with me while I wheel, but this is most of it. The socket set is straight from Milwaukee, so everything has its place and fits in there really nice. You can see if anything's missing. I love this socket set. It's sick. It's great. And then underneath that, I normally pile this thing full of tools to where there's not like a square inch open, but bits like Phillips bits and drill bits, lubricant for all my Heim joints, because there's tons of them. Impacts, I also carry like my 1/2-inch high torque impacts, electric ratchet, vice grips. These things are awesome. Snatch block, I carry 2 like huge crescent wrenches like the size of this to tighten down links if they ever loosen up.
Nice.
But yeah, that thing's normally packed so full nothing can even rattle.
That's sick.
And then this is a first aid kit, also just straight from Milwaukee. Way overpriced, but has stuff in it. Probably only ever used a Band-Aid out of it, but nice to know I have it. And then in the last box, I want to put a cooler back here that's like this size.
Oh yeah, I've seen
Those
those.
things are sweet. Got some fuses, sunscreen. This is my tire inflator.
Dude,
And
that thing's way nicer than
works
mine.
like a charm.
I have the DeWalt and it sucks.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I just put it into a tire, set a pressure, and walk away, and then I don't have to sit there checking it. It takes longer for sure, but all you have to do is start it and leave. So in the end, you're only actually spending like 1 minute connecting and disconnecting it from the different tires.
Right.
And it'll fill up all my tires on less than a battery, so don't ever have to worry about that.
It's a sick setup though.
It's just on 2x4s, but it works.
Yeah.
There's just the plates down there, so you lock everything in and it doesn't go anywhere while I'm wheeling.
Yeah, no, the Packouts are so money. Because if you just have a bunch of tools lying around, then they're just flying all over the place, making so much noise. Not ideal.
Yep.
So Nate just barely put on 42s, and as you can tell, there's literally no extra room. He's rubbing already. So what's your plans as far as to get those 42s to fit?
I don't want to have to do it, but I might have to cut out this whole wheel well and raise it up and then cut the corner armor all the way up, basically to like the bottom of this bolt, maybe even cut that bolt out.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to have to do because my whole tub is like just beautifully bed lined, and I don't want to cut into it and melt it and mess it up, but I'm gonna have to if I want to be able to flex without changing something.
Yeah, so these 42s, it's crazy you were telling me the difference between just the 40s and the 42s, because you could wheel totally fine, you'd never rub or anything with 40s, right?
I rubbed a little bit. I had 39s before, and you can see
39s.
where it was rubbing the paint off when I flexed really hard. Straight up travel, it would hit the bumps before it would rub, but when you're flexing, they just move a little bit more. And they would rub, but this is such a smooth cut, it didn't do anything to the tires. It was never a problem, so I just didn't care.
Dude, I thought for a second that this was just a rubber liner. So that is like...
Yeah, that's where the paint's rubbed off.
Yeah, okay, I see that now. Nice. And then you're running the KMC grenades. I love these wheels. And these are 20s, right?
Yeah, those are 20-inch beadlocks.
Okay.
I was running a set of fake beadlocks before, so now I can finally have peace of mind airing down to 5 PSI, not worry I'm going to drop a bead.
20s just gives you so much more security, right?
I don't know. I think that the proportions of it starts looking good. Once you get over like a 38, you got to go to a bigger wheel, I think.
Right.
Yeah, I mean 39s on a 17 looked good, but
yeah, they look good. 20s on my 35s over there, it would look absolutely ridiculous, but it looks totally proportionate on these.
yeah, I like it.
Nice.
And I picked up a set of 5 for a pretty good deal, so I can't complain because I was not going to be able to afford buying 5 sticky 42s and brand new beadlocks right from the manufacturers.
Yeah, I'm sure that was a killer deal. So up here, it looks like you're running the manual.
Yep.
And so your brother ruined your transfer case. So did you do any upgrades to transfer cases, or did you just put a stock one back in?
No, so it's a 4-speed Atlas.
Oh, nice.
Got it custom ordered, and it took like 6 months, maybe longer to get it, but it was worth the wait. So it's a triple stick. Front and rear axles are independently controlled, so I can do front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, front low, rear low, and then there's also a doubler on it. So I've got tons of different combinations of everything from a stock transfer case to a little bit lower than a Rubicon, and then if I do everything on, it's like a 13.8 to 1 transfer case, and it's painfully slow.
Dude, I bet this thing just crawls with anything though.
It's yeah. If it's crawlable, you can just put it in first gear and let it go, and it'll do it.
So you just barely put these 42s on. Were your 39 stickies?
No.
So you're gonna have some real fun testing these out.
I'm gonna have a lot of grip now. I was running Canati Mud Hogs,
Uh-huh.
and they were 12.5 wide, so they were a lot skinnier than this, a lot shorter than this, and they were DOT mud terrains, and they're Canatis, so I mean they're like the cheapest 39 you can buy. But they did great for me. I never broke a sidewall or anything, which a lot of times I thought I was going to. But no complaints on those tires, but I'm sure these ones are going to be better.
Yeah. So with this leaf extension bumper and all that, did that add any length to your wheelbase, or is it still fairly stock wheelbase?
So the leaf spring thing added... I did the leaf spring stretch, and then I also used Rough Stuff stretch perches, which is probably why the leaf springs were folding so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I added another inch or two. So I've got about 10 or 11 inches of stretch in the rear, and then 3 or 4 in the front. So it's like a 107, 108 inch wheelbase, where stock is 93, 94, something like that.
Yeah, with TJs with the stock wheelbase, and I mean even LJs are 104, I think.
Yeah.
So 107 is pretty close to being money right there. I doubt you feel super tippy, because some of those TJ guys with those stock wheelbase, when they're wheeling, dude, it scares the crap out of me.
Yeah. I'd like to push the front forward a few more inches. The back is like nice and flush with the bumper. I probably won't mess with it, but the front, if I can go a few more inches forward, I'll probably do that eventually.
Yeah.
Get to like 110, 111.
That's it. So you quickly mentioned that you have a 3-link front with the Moto-built shock towers, right?
So they're
No.
my custom design that
your
Moto
custom
built.
design.
They'll laser cut stuff for you.
Oh, nice.
So I sent them the files and they laser cut and CNC bent it all. And then these are Moto built inner fenders and highline fenders. So normally the hood comes down to here, but
Looks so
cut the
good.
hood, throw that on, gets you a lot more up travel, which is nice.
Yeah, I love the polished look on those too.
Yeah, they're great.
That looks really good. With the King bump stops, and then how much travel do you have on these front Kings?
They're 16-inch coilovers, so
16-inch.
they're not strapped, and the bump is basically right at the bottom of the coilover, so it's dang near 16 inches of travel in the front. I should probably strap them. I should probably strap the front and rear. I'm gonna rip apart a shock one of these days, but
Nice. So as far as axles go, what axles are you running?
so it's a weird old like 1975 Ford setup. I think it's from an F-250. The rear's a Dana 60. It's a full float. It's been pretty good. I broke one axle shaft and put chromollies in it. And then the front it's a Dana 44 HD, which means it's a Dana 44 center section with really thick tubes and then 1-ton knuckles and 6 lug and all that. I mean 8 lug. So it looks like a 1-ton from the outside because it's 8 lug, and which is great, but it is still a Dana 44. I haven't broken anything yet, which is keeps surprising me. Especially when I broke my rear axle shaft, I put it in front wheel drive and did like 3/4 of metal masher because I broke it right at the beginning.
Sorry,
Nice.
start that one. So you broke something on metal masher is what you were saying, right?
Yeah, so like first big obstacle on metal masher, I destroyed a rear axle shaft. So I put it in front wheel drive, and the group I was with was like, oh, just keep wheeling with us, like we'll get you through it. So I had it in front wheel drive, and I was just like clutch dropping in third gear trying to get up stuff,
Yeah,
just spinning my front tires on everything, and somehow I did not break the front axle, but
that's good.
it keeps holding up. I want to look for a Super Duty Dana 60, but just haven't
Right.
found the one I want yet.
Nice. So it looks like you have a Moto-built truss in the front.
Yep.
That's nice.
Yep, so that wasn't made for the axle, but it cut it up and made it fit.
You made it work. Hey, that's what's nice about being a fabricator. You can just make things work.
Yeah, I think it was for a JK or something, but yeah, just made it fit good enough.
Sweet, man. As far as other stuff in the front end, let's see. Are you planning on running hydro assist anytime soon or going full hydro?
Yeah, I need to run something.
With 42s, I bet it's pretty tough
Yeah,
to turn those wheels.
With 39s, I couldn't move them basically unless I was rolling
Yeah.
on a trail, and even then I was putting all my strength into it a lot of the time, which it would be nice, but honestly I've gotten through everything without it, so like $3,000 is not the first thing I want to spend money on right now because I can do trails without it, but
Yeah.
I'd like to go to hydro assist probably just to keep the steering box for peace of mind on the road, but full
Right.
hydro is tempting. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, you do have a tow rig, so full hydro is
Yeah,
pretty good because I hear full hydro kind of sucks driving on the road. I've never driven full hydro.
neither have I, but I've heard the same thing. So I've heard it just feels like you're driving a boat, like it's delayed and you just can't tell what you're doing. It's
Yeah,
like
it never like
it's a
returns to
suggestion
center.
box.
Yeah, right. Cool, man. Well, it's looking clean. I love it.
I designed this bumper in high school. It was like my capstone in my engineering class. I designed it, got it laser cut and bent, and then I welded it up. This thing, designed that. It's just a little bump pad. Plasma cut it, welded it to the axle. Gen right twisted pitman arm to get the right geometry because of how far my axle goes down. I need that joint to be at a little bit of an angle. And then down here I actually had to do 1 1/4 Heim because when I was flexing it would be too much angle for a 7/8 Heim.
Yeah. I was following you through the canyon. I never saw any death wobble, so it's pretty dialed, huh?
Yeah, I had some death wobble. Turns out this bolt was completely loose.
Oh, man.
And once I tightened that down, it went away, and then I also put a steering stabilizer on it, and that helped a lot too, because I was running no steering stabilizer, and you could feel everything through the wheel.
Yeah. When we were in Sand Hollow last, we were with a guy that was driving the TJ, and he broke his pitman arm.
Oh,
So we had to do a trail fix.
jeez.
That kind of sucked, but yours seems more heavy duty than his, honestly.
It's Gen right. That's expensive stuff. I cannot afford very many Genrite parts, but that one is definitely worth it.
Right. So you're running just stock engine? Do you have a supercharger or anything like that?
No, just stock engine, cold air intake, so
Nice.
that's it. And it's the cheapest cold air intake you can buy.
I like how you have these shock towers coming out of the hood. That's sick.
Yeah.
Obviously, that just helps with more travel, right?
Yeah, I wanted the look of it. A lot of this Jeep is just because I want to see if I can do it and it's fun.
Yeah.
So I think they look sweet. I designed those when I was like 16 or 17 and welded them at the same time. So going from the front of the Jeep back, my welds get better because it was like 17 years old to 20 years old or whatever. And I definitely got better as I moved to the back. But those things have some ugly welds on them, but they hold, so I can't complain.
So I saw your Instagram story. You're working on some, what do they call it? Some housings for subs or for just...
Oh, yeah.
That's sick. Do you have those in now, or?
No, I should have thrown it in the pack out and shown you it, but I just got these little 4-inch Polk Audio marine speakers. I wanted to put like wake tower speakers in the back, but they're all like huge. 6 to 8 inch speakers. They're huge. The pods are like this deep.
Blow your eardrums
and
out.
As fun as it would just take up so much space. And so I'm designing these little 4-inch waterproof speaker housings, 3D printing those out of probably like nylon carbon fiber, and then they'll attach to the cage really snug and hopefully be a little bit more low profile and still sound good.
Yeah.
Because I like having music.
Right. Walk me around the Jeep and just show me everything that you've 3D printed. Do you have...
All right. These ones are hard to see, but I guess you might be able to see it better from this side. It's uglier now that I zip tied a breather hose to it, but that brake line, it goes soft line to a 3D printed clamp, and then a little baby hard line, another 3D printed clamp, and then down to the axle. So that's one part. I'm trying to think. Last night I was trying to get these like UTV mirrors on just because I don't want the cops to have any more reason to pull me over. And they were for 1 3/4 tube, which I thought I used here, but this is actually 1 1/2. It's 1 3/4 up here. So I 3D printed this little nylon carbon fiber spacer just in 2 pieces that I snapped on there, and it made the tube bigger so that those would fit and I didn't have to return them.
Nice.
I guess one more thing in the front. You'll have to pop the hood to see it. Don't look too close inside the hood, but right here, these are... That one's ugly. You gotta look at the other side because the spring's aligned. Okay. Cut that out.
Yeah, I'll step up on this rock.
It's a 3D printed coil tender slider, and if I wanted to put tender springs on these coilovers, because I bought them used from a guy, I would have to either do it myself or send them in and have the entire shock disassembled, this taken off, and then the slider put on because you can't get it past the jam nuts. So I made one that prints in 2 pieces, and then you put it on, and it uses some like press-in keys to connect the 2 sides, and it's worked pretty dang good for as long as I've had it.
Nice.
So I've been running them like a year, and they're not too bad.
So did you fabricate this whole cage for your motor?
Yeah, so I just tried tying these 2 shock towers together.
Nice.
Originally it was meant to bolt between these 2 plates, but you'd be surprised how much your frame flexes, and once you put weight on it, like the bolt holes don't align.
Right.
So I just welded 2 bars across of it. If I ever want to take the engine out or whatever, I'll just cut it and add the tube joints in there from like TMR or whatever. But this, I made one out of cardboard.
Dude, look at those dimes, bro. So that was a recent one.
Yeah, so I made this out of cardboard and then 3D scanned it with my iPhone and put it into the computer, and then I 3D printed the box the way I wanted it and set it in here, made sure it cleared everything and it was good. And then, so that's my coolant overflow. And then once I 3D printed it, made sure it fit, I went to work and I laser cut these plates and welded them all together and then just put a cap on it. I have to be honest, these are all mine, but my coworker really lays dimes and he did that one, so I can't take credit for it.
All right, you should have done. So, let's see, what else? I feel like we've covered a lot.
Down here, there's more of these 3D printed clamps for the brake line.
Okay,
so
nice.
Just a little
I see that one.
1/4 bolt, and it runs all the way down and keeps the brake lines out of the way and the breather hose.
Okay, so did you have to get custom drive shafts with with you lengthening the wheelbase? Or-
Yeah. So stretching the front and back, and then putting a 4-speed on it. There's like a doubler in front of the transfer case that's like this big. So the front drive shaft was so long for a YJ that they actually called me and said, "You measured your drive shaft wrong. There's no way it's that long
Yeah.
for a YJ." And I said, "No, trust me, it is. Like, just use the measurements and make my drive shafts."
Yeah.
But they work great. They're just are they Tom Woods, I think.
Custom. Yeah.
Yeah,
Tom
Woods.
Woods.
Thought so.
Nice, man.
And then if you really climb underneath here, you can see where the upper 4-link mount goes way up inside my floor, which is why those Packouts aren't mounted down to the floor. They're spaced
right.
up.
Okay.
So I wanted more up travel without having to sit high, because I like the low look. So the axle goes way up into my floor to to achieve that.
You made that look good though.
Yeah,
It
from
looks-
the
looks
top side, it looks
factory.
pretty clean.
Your bump stops are putting in work.
Yeah, yep, hitting the bump stops a lot. I like driving it like it's a race car, even though I probably shouldn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got the setup for it. I mean, I need to go and just act like a pre-runner with you in this thing. It looks fun.
It is, it's a good time.
All right, I'm trying to think of everything else. Is this just a best top bikini top or
Rampage Products. I bought it on
Rampage
Amazon
Products.
last week.
sick? Looks
Yeah.
looks clean.
This is one more thing. This is a rear seat out of a Gladiator, so it's the bench seat
nice.
across, and opens
that's
up, so it mounts just like factory, so there's all the space underneath it. And then the rear, the little like pull tab, still works just like factory. So
Sweet.
if I want to, I can lean the seat forward. Obviously the harnesses kind of get in the way of that, but
Yeah.
it just snaps right in place and then unlocks. So
Dude, that's
it's nice.
sick.
That's how I fill up the gas tank when the hard top's on. I lean that seat forward and go in through the door.
That's sweet that the hardtop fits with all this crazy stuff going
It
on
all
back
clears.
here. The lighting you have on here.
So stock halogen headlights. I like the glass, but other than that, they are candles, so you can't see anything with them. These are just Nightlight Amazon flush mount pods, and then these are Morimoto 4-bangers.
Nice.
So,
Those look good. I got the Morimoto tail lights for the Tacoma
nice.
right there.
and then
And then-
also up in here, there's a few rock lights in each wheel well, and then along the slider.
And then this is your blinker, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It's a little guy, but keeps me compliant.
Right. And then what winch you running?
Smitty built 10,000 pound, and then I took the control box off the top of it and relocated it to the back of my engine bay just because
Cool.
it's ugly.
Yeah.
So I just ran some wires back there, and then my aux beam like switch pod, I wired that into the switch that's normally on here that puts it in wireless mode.
Oh, cool.
So I just hit a button on my dash, and it puts it in wireless mode, and then I can use the remote just instantly without having to plug anything in or do any work. So it's nice.
That's sick. So what lockers are you running?
It's a lunchbox in the front
Uh-huh.
and a Detroit in the rear, so they're just auto lockers, and
Cool.
they always seem to lock up when I need them, and then
Dude, honestly, if
never
you
give
have
me
a-
any problems.
Yeah, if you have a dedicated crawler, I feel like that's the move.
Yeah, I mean the front will unlock a little bit around turns, so it's not totally giving you problems.
Yeah.
And the rear does also unlock until the tires start spinning too much, but when I'm hitting obstacles and stuff, they're basically always there when I need them, and never have to worry about turning them on and off and having an air compressor
Yeah,
and air
that's
leaks or
nice.
electric lockers. So it's really nice, honestly, and cheap.
Right. Yeah, the guy that we were with in Sand Hollow just barely, he had a leak in his line, so his front and rear weren't working.
Yeah.
So it kind of ruins the trip for you.
Yeah,
Because without lockers, you're kind of toast. So.
for sure.
All right, Nate. Well, this is one of the sickest YJs, well, sickest Jeeps I've seen in a long time.
Thank you.
Like, it might not be like the most expensive, newest off the lot, but like it has some awesome character and some craftsmanship. Like, it's one of the sickest Jeeps out there. So
Thank you.
props to you for building this thing.
Appreciate it.
It's not just like a Tacoma that everybody has, you know? It was kind of funny. We had a Tacoma meetup, and this guy shows up in his Jeep, and he's the only guy in the Jeep. Just crashing the party. I
Yep.
liked it. So I had to go and talk to you because I'm not a Jeep hater. My father-in-law, as you guys know, he's got the He's got the Jeep JK on 40s, and so we're big Jeep fans. So this thing's sick, and hopefully we can do some wheeling in the future,
sure.
man.
For sure.
We'd love to wheel with you and to see how this thing works. But if you guys want to follow this guy, he's Meza Jeep on Instagram, right?
Yep.
Are you on any other platforms?
I started a TikTok like last
Okay,
week,
there
but
you
haven't
go.
really done anything with it. I posted
Are you
2
dancing
videos.
or are you doing Jeep stuff?
No, I try to avoid the camera as much as I can.
Yeah, well, thanks again, man. I appreciate you being on the channel, and like I said, go follow him on Instagram. He's always posting, you know, fire stuff. So stay tuned for future wheeling videos.
Sweet.